Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
5 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 9 lakhs, various figures have been doing the rounds about the number of personnel, armed personnel deployed in Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has claimed that there are 9 lakh soldiers in the valley. What is the truth? What is this number? That's what we are going to look at in Government Matters today. Snehesh Alex Philip is in the studio with us. He covers defense, of course, and in fact, he's done an exclusive story on this. Do log on to theprint.in to read that. Snehesh, what are these figures that have been doing the rounds? I mean, there are various claims coming from all quarters. As I mentioned, even the Pakistan Prime Minister has a figure that he's floated. How many armed personnel are there in the valley at this point?
Well, if the valley has to be seen in two contexts. One is the hinterland, and then one is the LOC. Sure. And these figures, the often floated figures are anywhere ranging from 5 lakhs to 9 lakhs. Now, as you rightly said, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan and the ISPR DG have claimed that there are 9 lakh troops deployed in Kashmir. Now, 9 lakh troops, which mean that over 60% of the 13 lakh strong Indian army.
So that's more than half of the Indian army of the claim. According to the claim.
According to the claim. So whereas the fact is completely far away from the fictional number that has been propagated out, instead of 9 lakhs, as far as deployment is concerned, there are only 3.43 lakh central security personnel deployed in Kashmir.
Right. Now, if you can give me a breakup of these, we'll talk about the various forces subsequently, but if you can give me a breakup of how many of these are in the hinterland and how many are in the LOC.
So, for example, in the hinterland, in terms of, if you're talking about the army perspective, the total number from the 3.43, the army personnel, that is the soldiers, amount to only about 1.6 lakh.
Right.
Soldiers deployed in Jammu and Kashmir. Of this 1.6 lakh, nearly 1 lakh are posted at the LOC.
Right.
And so means the rest are deployed in the valley. Now, the particular force which is carrying out the anti-terror operation, it's not that the entire army is involved in anti-terror operations, is the RR Rifles, which is the Rashtra Rifles unit of the Indian Army, and the RR constitutes about 50,000 soldiers. So this means that actually on the ground in Kashmir, there are 50,000 army soldiers who are deployed for counterinsurgency and counter-terrorism operation.
Right. Now, how much of the other forces are deployed in Kashmir? If there are some figures we can talk about.
So, for example, in the overall deployment, the other forces which are deployed in Kashmir besides the armies is, of course, the Central Armed Police Forces. Now,
CAPF.
The CAPF. And the CAPF deployed in Kashmir would include the CRPF, which forms the largest contingent of it, the BSF, the SSB, as well as the ITBP. Now, as per the figures, this 1.6 lakh central, that CAPF personnel are deployed in the valley, in Kashmir. And remember that a large portion of this particular deployment came just ahead of the August 5 decision by the Narendra Modi government to go ahead and remove the...
So, which is what also I want to know, and I'm sure viewers also want to know, how much was scaled up, how much of the deployment was scaled up in the run-up to the decision?
Well, in the run-up to the decisions, as far as the figures that I am aware of, I have not checked of late about the exact scaling up, but when it happened, I was told that there were additionally about 55 to 60,000 extra security personnel from the CAPF that were deployed in Kashmir. Remember that there was no scale-up as far as the army was concerned, because remember that the army is not involved in law and order issues. It's the CAPF and the local police. Now, this 3.6 lakh security personnel that I mentioned are personnel deployed by the center. You already have about 80,000 odd strong regular personnel of the JKP, that is Jammu and Kashmir Police. But not all these 80,000 are deployed in Kashmir. The JKP is divided into Jammu, Kashmir, as well as Leh Ladakh area.
Right. Now, not talking about the soldiers at the LOC, but in terms of those posted in the valley, in the hinterland, what is the kind of role that both the CAPF and the army are performing at this
point? So, the primary role of the CAPF is with regard to the law and order issues. It's to you have a important but not large significant in terms of numbers, which also helps the army in operations. Now, when I say it helps the army in operations, remember that all the operations in Kashmir, except in Srinagar, are undertaken by the RR units, which is the Rashtriya units, as I mentioned earlier. Now, they are the ones who go in for the actual operations. You will have components of the of the JKP that would be there, which is a small element, which would be, usually it's about 2 to 3 personnel from the JKP who are there in the actual operation. Then you have the first tier security, which is provided to them, which is by the CRPF. Then you have a second tier, which is again by the CRPF as well as by the JKP.
Right.
Now, they are not involved in the actual operation, but what they do is prevent law and order situation from deteriorating, prevent stone pelters from entering encounter site and hampering any operation or putting themselves at danger during any such encounter that is on.
Right. So, Snehesh, I'm glad that we are sort of busting this myth of this number that's doing the rounds, but just to understand, where are these figures coming from? I mean, where is this 9 lakh or 7 lakh or 5 lakh figure coming from?
See, I would also, for this, I'll also blame the Indian government also for this. It's a propaganda that is on. So the whole idea is to show that Kashmir is a highly militarized zone. You have 9 lakh soldiers, in Kashmir, trying to stop people from, the so-called, what people say would be freedom struggle or any such agitation that is happening in Kashmir. So there's a whole machinery which works to show that India is deploying large amount of soldiers. Well, so that fact has been bunked, is that it's not 9 lakhs, it's just 3.6 lakhs central forces who are deployed in Kashmir. And why I blame the Indian government is also because in the past and in the current context also, no Indian government has come on record to bust this particular myth or this particular propaganda that is there, showing that there are large number of lakhs and lakhs of security personnel who are there in Kashmir. And the Indian governments are always shied away from it because, which means that they would have to come on record and at least admit that, it is not 7 lakhs, 5 lakhs or 9 lakhs. It is nearly it is about 3.6 lakh, for which they will have to admit, which also shows them in a situation where questions can be raised. Why do you need so many security persons?
Right.
So yes.
Now we know that normalcy hasn't quite returned to the valley. There is internet clampdown which continues. There have been increased attacks against migrants, against outsiders by militants. Do you see any scaling down of personnel being deployed in the valley anytime soon?
Well, Rui, you use the word normalcy. I don't know what is normal in Kashmir. Yes, it's a fact that internet has been shut down, and it's not a new development that has happened in Kashmir. Internet in the past, for example, when Burhan Wani was killed in 2016, there was a clampdown which lasted for about 120 days.
Right, but that was only on the internet. That this time it also was on the landlines and everything. So
yes, there has been an unprecedented situation, but I don't see any drawdown happening, of the forces very soon. So as and when the situation improves, there would be a drawdown. But remember that about 50-60,000 additional personnel from the CAPF were deployed in Kashmir. So even if there would be a drawdown, there would be a drawdown in terms of the 50 additional, about 60,000 odd that have been brought there. But I think that drawdown will take a much longer period of time.
Right. Well, myth versus reality. Snehesh Alex Philip telling us what is happening on the ground in Kashmir and how many forces are actually deployed as against what the claims have been from across various people and personalities. Thank you so much for watching Government Matters. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for a range of shows.